everyone, we're back in Mr. McCrae's math class videos. This is the first one of the year. So we're going to do another problem in regards to rational exponents. Remember, our key words of this week is identical common factors, ICF. All right. So this one is different from the last one. We just did one with a number in it. Now we're going to do one with a number and a variable. Okay. So again, this is one of the questions you'll probably see on the test on Friday. So make sure that you're understanding this. Watch this a couple times. It's going to be about 6 to 7 minutes. So you should be able to get this information. Also, it's going to help you with doing the homework as well. So make sure you take that opportunity and get those things done. All right. So again, we talked about how to understand what this actually means. The fifth root, okay, because this is the root, fifth root of 192, a to the sixth power. That's what that means. Or a number to the sixth power. But we're just going to say a to the sixth power right now. So the important thing you got to remember is how many identical factors do you need? Okay? So if you look at this right here, there's a 5 here. So we need 5 identical factors to simplify this radical expression. Okay? So I'm going to put that on the side. 5 ICFs. Okay? Now, we're going to do the same technique that we did before, and we do practicing on the do now. The technique was we were going to prime factor, and we're going to get to 5 identical common factors. Now, one thing that people were having problems with, okay, people were breaking down the problem to the simplest form. I understand that, but again, the question is common factors, identical common factors. So if you find a couple of common factors that are way before the root, okay, then you want to use those values instead. And we'll show you another problem that on Wednesday so you guys get prepared for that. All right? So, let's talk about the first one. We have 192. So we're going to basically break that down as far as we can to get to 5 identical common factors. Now, divisibility rules, if you don't know what those are, pretty simple thing to understand. Now, what 2 values would work to get us to that would be 2 factors of 192. Think about that. Now, divisibility rules tell you this. If you use the number 3, okay, use 3. If you know divisibility rules mean this. 1 plus 9 plus 2 would give us 12. If those values add up and they divide by 3, that means it's divisible by an odd number. Okay? So if we use 3, then I would know that if I do my math out here, I have 6, and then I have 6 and 1, then I have 64. Okay, so 3 and 64 will give us 192. Okay, we already know that 3 is going to be a prime factor because there's no other one's going to be factored into 3. So I'm going to make a 0 on that. Circle on that. Now I'm going to factor down the 64. We should all know this. 8 times 8. That works. Then we can break down 8 times 8. 2 times 4. Do one on the same side. Okay? Then we break down those 4s to 2s. Okay? So now all of a sudden, now we have all the factors of 192. So again, like I said, once you find prime factorization numbers, you want to circle them. So I'm going to circle these 2s. And then I'm going to circle 3s. Now, one thing I'm seeing in practice, and guys in class, you've got to make sure that you know what those factors are. So, because if you miss one, it's going to mess up your answer here. So that's why it's important. Every time you see one, you want to make sure you circle it. Okay, so you know exactly what you need to put back under the square root. All right? So, I'm going to take this information. Now I'm going to make another part of the parenthesis. And then we'll talk about a to the 6th afterwards. All right? So, with 192, I make the square root, the 5th root, okay, so it's going to be 3 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, okay, times 2 times 2. Okay? Once we get good at this on Wednesday, I'm going to show you a quick shortcut to make sure that you understand, so you can see this pretty quickly. All right? So, we need 5 identical common factors, or ICFs. So obviously we can say there's no other 3, so the 3 is going to stay. But we have 6 identical factors right here. So we're going to basically underline 5 of them. 5 of them. Okay? So those 5 are going to go with our ICF. So those are part of the root. Okay? So again, once you get those 5, you're going to pull that out of the square root. So you're going to pull 1 out of the 5. So you're going to put it outside of the square root. And these are all going to cancel. Okay? Now we have 2, 3, and 2. We're going to multiply those 2 together. That would give us 6. So it's going to be 2 times the 5th root of 6. Okay, that's one portion of the answer. Okay? So again, 2, let me rewrite this so we can see this a little better. Make sure we can get this. 2 to the 5th root of 6. All right? That's the first portion. Now, the other portion is the a to the 6th. So we got to get the 5th root of a to the 6th. Now, before, what we did was we took this and put it into exponential form, and we put it to 1/5 and multiplied that by 6, because that's the old school property of exponents. But unfortunately, we want to make this in simplified form, so that would give us 5/6. So we'd have to turn it back to radical form, which is too much work. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically simplify this a to the 6th with this 5. So the first thing you got to think about, okay, is how does this break down similar to 192? So if you think about it, rational exponents, if you multiply exponents, you're multiplying the variables, you're adding the exponents. So if, again, you'll have a to the 6th, you have a to the 3rd times a to the 3rd. Okay? So that will give us 8/6. Then from here, I know that a to the 3rd, there's 3 a's to be an a to the 3rd. So I'm going to go a times a times a. Same thing here. A times a times a. So all of a sudden now, I have 6 a's to represent a to the 6th. Okay? So might run out a little space here, so I might do the best I can. I'm going to take this portion, see if I can actually put this down on the side here so we can see this. All right, so again, I'm going to write it similar to what I did here. I'm going to write 5th root of a times a times a times a times a times a. So that's 6 of them. Now, similar to the a cubic root, I got to find 5 identical common factors, or ICFs. So I have 5 of them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So, similar to what I did with the 2's, and they're going to pull out, I'm going to do the same thing with the A's. So these 5 A's are going to pull out 1 A. Okay? It's going to pull out 1 A. All right? And then I'm going to be left with another A inside. So it's just going to be A on the outside with the A on the inside, with the 5. Okay? So now I have these 2 problems put together. Now I have to combine these information to put it together to make it a simplified version. All right? So, guys, we'll just move it over. So I'll put it right here. So, let's see how to put these together. All right, so now I have an A on the outside of the square root. So that's going to actually go with the actual 2. So it's going to be 2A. Okay? And then you're going to write a square root sign. But remember, it's to the 5th root, because it's a 5 here, to the 5th root. Okay? And then we have a 6, and we have an A together. So we're going to combine these 2. So the final answer is going to be 6A. So again, 2 times a number to the 5th root of 6A. Okay? So again, this is where, again, I want to make sure that you get this right. You're probably going to have to watch this a couple times to make sure you get it right. Practice at home, do the best you can. Do the best you can on it. We'll have another video on Wednesday to give you some more help on this stuff. But again, if you practice it, this is how, just like you play a sport. You can't be good at shooting three-pointers without practicing. Okay? You just don't get out and start shooting three-pointers. You have to practice the work. So again, take the opportunity to do the homework at night. There's only 12 problems. Do it, bring it in, we'll talk about it, we'll work through it, and we'll get you correct so you can get the A on the final test on Friday. Thank you, guys.